This is recently Rhonda and the everyday adventures of my life. This week, or today anyways, I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about Todd. Now, he is a character that I have to bring up, and I've been kind of postponing it just because it's going to take a while, because he is such a unique individual, I guess, if I want to be nice about it. And he basically comes into play and into my life because he's a coworker of mine, or ex-coworker of mine, or whatever, is how we initially met. And he actually got his name Todd after several different instances that he and I had, like run-ins with each other or whatever. So a guy from Boston that I know, he grew up with Phil and Fitzy in like the Boston, New Hampshire area. I guess he's more Boston. I'm not really sure how it works. I think New Hampshire is the size of a shoebox or something along that line. So he ends up meeting up with Todd one night because they happen to be staying at Fitzy's and Phil's house. Kind of at the same time, like Todd was watching the dogs for Fitzy and Phil, and then the guy from Boston just happened to be kind of swinging through or whatever. He's pretty much a gypsy man. I call him Nomadic. That'll be his nickname for the rest of my stories. But anyways, so he says to me one day after his encounter with Todd, he goes, Rhonda, like, what is the deal with Todd? Like, I don't get it. Like, you're way, way too cool to be hanging out with this guy, Todd. And I'm like, who are you talking about? Who are you calling Todd? I don't even understand. I've never met a Todd a day in my life. And he starts laughing. He's like, Todd. And I was like, I don't know. Like, I have no clue what you're talking about. I am not picking up what you're putting down. And he's like, like a retard. And I was like, oh, gotcha. Makes sense now. And I laughed for probably a good straight 20 minutes just in regards to this name, because it's very fitting and it's very funny. And this name all came about at the same time where I decided to start this blog. So I was like, this is perfect. Like, his name is Todd. So when I bring up Todd and I'm bringing up this story, I'm actually saying Tard, just in my best Boston accent. So I'm trying. So basically, Todd and I first met when I originally came out here back in March, like 2 years ago, for a girls' weekend. I came out with 3 other chicks that I'm like really cool with or whatever. And we stayed at Fitzy's and Phil's, and we had a good time. We partied it up. We were a mess. Todd's the type of person that likes to be materialistic. He likes to pretend that he has like a lot of nice stuff and whatever. So he hangs out with a lot of like club hosts and all those people that I kind of find slightly on the pathetic side. But there's nothing wrong with being a club host unless you're like 45 and like you're never going to do anything else and you're still doing drugs or whatever. Otherwise, it's a good living and I have nothing to say about it. So if you don't do drugs, good for you. Either way, so he ended up hooking up all these tables and all those clubs and whatever, like the entire time we were there. So we had a really good time. So we get there Friday morning, we're kind of chilling, whatever. Go balls to the wall, strip club, the whole nine. Like, had an awesome time. The day after, we went to Voodoo, which is this. It's actually in the Rio, and it's on the top level outside, and it's spectacular. So I love it. Anyways, and then the night after that, we went to Christian Auger, which is no more. It's in Treasure Island. So we all have a good time or whatever. There's some controversy on like Friday or Saturday night or whatever. Just drunken girl drama. And yes, I was included. Usually I'm not. But Vegas gets the best of you, especially when it's your first time there. Like, you don't really know what to expect. So you get really drunk and really stupid and just do a lot of stupid, funny shit now, but not so funny at the time. So the night after, we all go out, and, like, there's still, like, a bit of animosity or whatever, but we squash it. We go out. We have a good time. I meet the girls outside at the bathroom, and I'm like, what are you guys doing? They're like, well, we're ready to go. And I'm like, okay, well, you should have told me that. Like, you guys are already out the bathrooms. So I go back in, and I'm like, listen, I need to just grab my sweater before we go anywhere. Like, I have a t-shirt on. It was hot in the club, so now I need to go back and get my sweater. Go back and get my sweater, come back out. They're gone. They're vanished. Completely vanished. I mean, granted, I might have taken a little bit more time than I had thought. Who really knows what happened, because I was bombed. So those guys left anyways, and I'm, like, trying to find my way out. They're like, we're at a cab stand, we're here, whatever. And I'm like, I don't know how to get out of this place. Like, the casinos here are designed to trap you, to keep you in, to make you spend more money there at their club or, casino products or whatever. They do a fantastic job at this. I asked security guards, people that work there, the whole nine, like, how do I get out of here? They'd be like, oh, take left, right, twirl around, you do jumping jacks, and then, at the third, and remember, the third slot machine, you're going to take a right. And that's, like, important. Like, you need to make sure you take that right. There's slot machines all over the floor. This is stupid. Like, what are you saying? It's like trying to give directions and say, oh, well, you're going to see, like, the third, tree, and then there's going to be a shrub. Make sure you take that left. What? Anyways, so completely lost. So I go back into the club, and I'm like, Tad, dude, like, can you just show me the way out of here? And he's like, yeah, sure, one more drink, one more this, one more that. Okay, cool. So finally, like, I'm like, dude, I have to catch a flight in less than 2 hours. So we get in his car, which was a stupid idea because he's hammered. I was terrified. It was very poor decisions on both of our ends. Get in his car, and the entire way back to Fitzy's and Phil's, he's like, you're so pretty, you're so this, you're so chill, you're so down to earth, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, dude, you've known me for like 2 days. I could be a complete fucking weirdo, which I might be. But anyways, so, like, the entire time, he's, like, saying all this, like, stuff, and, yeah, it's nice and whatever. Every girl likes to hear that. And I'm like, yeah, well, it's just not going to happen. You're just not my type. Like, I'm sorry. It's just not going to happen. So, I don't know if he looked at this as a personal challenge or whatnot, but continued with it. So, we go back to Fitzy's and Phil's, and I put on Married with Children, and we ended up passing out. Now, I'm talking, when I say pass out, I don't mean no funny business whatsoever. I'm talking, like, sleeping, passed out. Well, when you're drunk and you're sitting up straight watching Married with Children, you tend to slump over. Slumping. So we ended up, like, in this awkward spoon or whatever. I wake up and I'm, like, kind of creeped out. I'm like, fuck, this is a nightmare. This is already a nightmare. Like, nope. So I woke up and I happened to be drooling, and I was like, dude, I'm drooling all over the couch. Like, ew, gross. Like, sorry. Like, we passed out and kind of, like, slopped over. And he's like, oh, it's all right, whatever. Like, I'm not trying to be cute at this point in time. Like, no, I'm talking about how I'm drooling all over the place. I can't breathe because I smoked a pack of cigarettes the night before. Like, totally uncute. And I'm not a snuggly person, so that you can tell this is not done on purpose. I've actually been told before, quote unquote, you are as snuggly as a crocodile. Yep, that's pretty much it. So that was actually the first weekend that he and I had met, and then I came back out a week later to just try out the job or whatever. And him and I, went out a couple times, and, like, it was all normal. Had a couple drinks, had some fun, whatever. And then I was offered the position here and asked to move out a week later. So this is now after a month, approximately, of knowing Tad as well as working with him. But the story continues.